Class 9th and class 10th students, welcome to Deeksha Vedantu. Beta, today this video is very important and you might think, ma'am, this is not the right time to look at answer writing strategies. But there's one thing I want to tell you. It's not just about the boards. It's not just about class 9th final examinations. This strategy you have to, when I say you have to, it does not mean you can or you cannot. You have to use in your class exams, in your half yearly, in your pre-boards, in your boards, because bacha, there is a thing called practice, repetition and pattern. And write it down. I tell you today, if you follow these answer writing strategies, the way you write down questions and answers today will be the exact same way you will write down the questions and answers in your final examination, in your final boards. That's one thing, right? Because what we practice is eventually what we become, right? So this video is based completely on how to write answer perfectly in your science subject. Done. I'm your Aditi Mam, and today this video we will see complete from the starting, how to frame an answer, the numerical pattern, the diagrams, everything, so you don't have to worry at all. Okay, now starting with that, bacha, the very first thing is follow proper sequence. Now beta, we all know that there was a news in the last boards as well, boards 2026. We know that CBSE changed the pattern. That is, section A is now biology, right? It's now bio. Section B, bacha, is what? It is now chemistry. Section B is chemistry, and section C at the end will be your physics, right? Now you cannot attempt question in between those sections. You cannot attempt a section A question in section B or section B question in section C. Earlier we used to do that, right? I just forgot to attempt one question, let me attempt at the last, right? And we used to mention, at least I did. But this is not true anymore. In boards especially, you have to follow this pattern. The section A questions, if you forgot something, you cannot write in section B. So what we request you always is you leave at least a sheet after section A, right? You can get any number of sheets you want in your boards examinations. So every section, after every section A, you have to leave a sheet and then move to section B, right? Now this is specifically an exam tip, but ma'am, how does this relate to here? First of all, what I said, what you practice now will exactly be what you will become in the boards, right? So right now also you have to practice section wise or question numbers as well. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Make sure when you look at the paper, when you look at a class test, it just has 5 questions, right? But make sure you attempt them in a proper pattern. If you don't know something, make sure you leave the proper space. Let's say it's a 3 marks question, right? Let's say it's a 3 marks question. So you leave 3 to 4 marks for theory. So you leave for numerical, let's say you can leave half the page, right? So that's how you think about how much space you need to attempt that particular question. If the same question comes for 5 marks, right, then you will leave the full page, right? You will leave the full page, because then you'll draw the diagram as well, you will write the numerical as well. So that's how you have to start practicing from today only. Okay, now next bacha, next thing we have clear and concise writings for MCQs. Now you will have MCQs in your half yearly as well, in your class tests as well, right? So look at this very carefully. This sheet you can see is very neat, right? You can see there is a proper section where they mentioned the option for that, option C, and then with that we also have the answer. Then D, we have all the equation. 4, calcium phosphate, the proper answer, and on that side we have a proper complete designated space for rough work. Now this is not the final paper, okay? This is just your class examination. So you have 3 MCQs. You do it like that. After that, mark a line here and start the next session, maybe your fill in the blanks, maybe your 1 marker, 2 marker questions. Done. So clear and concise writing for options, for the number, serial number, answers and rough work. Done. Next bacha, that is your proper spacing between the answer. What did I tell you? Get a line, draw a line between them. Now what happens is bacha, this bacha already just left like one line, you should leave at least 2 lines. Okay, why do I tell you? Because sometimes you don't know the exact answer, sometimes you forgot the actual answer. So if you remember that there is one very important point that I forgot to mention in the above question that can get me full marks, then where will you write? Right, you don't have any space to write. So at least leave 2 lines. Okay, 2 lines after every question you have to leave, and of course that will eventually lead you to your answer sheet as clear and concise and neat and easy to check. Okay, done. Now of course we have some very important points that for the questions you have to write 3-4 lines, maybe make a paragraph, switch to another line, then add examples. That is very important. Okay, it shows the teacher that you actually know what you're talking about in your questions. Done. Now beta, next thing is your long answers hack. Ma'am, what is this long answers hack? This is something we want, right? Because we've just ended 9th and 10th and we are so scared of long answers. So see, whenever now you, in your class also, in your class test, you will be getting at least one long answer, right? So what you have to do, bacha, we all know the pattern by this time, right? We all start with intro, right? And then a full paragraph, or that paragraph is also in bullet points, right? In bullet points, and then the conclusion. This is the pattern basically, and we all mostly know by now. Now, ma'am, there is one case when I don't remember the questions, I don't remember the bullet points. What do I do? That's actually the hack where comes in. Now if you know the answer, this is the pattern you have to follow, you have to definitely follow. Now if you don't know the answer, bacha, then what you should do? Then there is something called picturesque memory, bacha. The minute you read a book and the minute you close your eyes and you try to remember the book, for most of the people who have picturesque memory, they can see like the whole page in front of them, right? So sometimes I just sit and I stare at the book blindly, like blank, and just trying to picture the whole page, right? Because that helps you to remember where exactly. Do you remember that sometimes you are about to you are trying to remember an answer and you see, okay, I remember this page, there was this image, this diagram, and what was just written in this paragraph, I just need to know, right? That's something called picturesque memory, right? So bit of following that, what you have to do, you remember what was written on that page, right? You try to remember what is written on that particular page. Was there a diagram? Was there a flow chart? Was there any other image? Was there any heading? And from that, try to relate it to the particular topic in the question. Relate to the question, try to relate that. Okay, maybe you won't remember the exact line, maybe you won't remember the exact concept, but it will make you come closer to a little bit of the answer that you actually have to give in the question paper, right? So from that, make this pattern of your long answers. Now also, if you don't remember, don't write bullet points. Okay, don't write bullet points, write a paragraph, and maybe you can extend 1 or 2 lines extra in the paragraphs, repeat it just to give it a little bit of length. So that was actually the hack. Okay, don't tell anyone. Now bacha, that is you can use in your classroom tests as well. See, classroom tests might be checked by a little bit harshly, right? So that you can prepare yourself for the boards. But in boards, the marking won't be that harsh. Okay, so in pre-boards, in half-yearly, in classroom tests, your tests will be a little bit checked harshly, so as to prepare you for something bigger, for something a little bit of hard. And when the paper will come a little bit easy, you will see the difference, right? That you were prepared enough. Okay, now next bacha, we have diagrams. Now diagrams, I only have to say one thing: your diagrams should be neat, they should be clean, and they should be clearly labeled. They should be clearly labeled. This is the most important point. And while you are labeling, this is your, let's say, your ray diagram. Okay, while you are labeling, you are mentioning focus, center of curvature, this is pole. Don't do it like this. Don't do this. This is pole, this is focus, this is center of curvature. It looks very bad. Okay, and maybe you do use your pencil, your scale, and even protractor to make the mirror. That is the best, but that's only if you have time. Okay, if you don't have time, don't go into that. Just try to practice the diagrams again and again so that you can draw it without pencil and scale. Okay, make sure you perfect it. See, I drew it in like 5 seconds. Now if I draw it carefully, right, it will be good. I'll draw it with a, okay, that's just not good, but I will draw it. If I keep on practicing, I will draw the lines a very bit neatly and cleanly. Okay, so that's what you have to practice again and again and again. Okay, in the diagram of heart, we know this is like a heart, right? Let's say this is a heart. So you label like this, okay, this is right ventricle, left ventricle, this is aorta, this is that. You label like this, don't label like this, and this is this, this is this. This looks really bad. Okay, so you just have to neatly draw the diagrams, cleanly draw the diagrams. They'll be easy to check, and the labeling should be proper. And how will that come? By practice. Okay, by practice. Okay, bacha, understood? Okay. The next thing, bacha, is underlining keywords, and you know how much people stress on, everyone stress on keywords, right? Why keywords are important? If you have ever seen my one shots, my lectures, right, you'll see that whenever I write a big formula or big paragraph, I change the color of that particular word that is important. Right now, you cannot use yellow colored pen in your boards, in your class exams, right? So what you can do is you can underline that important word, so that when teacher is checking your copy, he or she knows that this person, my student, knows what they are talking about, right? They knows that this particular segment of this paper is important, this particular word in the question in my answer is very important. Without this, my answer might look not clean and not complete. Okay, so bacha, these are some points you have to be very careful while answer writing. This video will help you in your class test, in your half yearly, in your pre-boards, in your final boards, in your class 9th examinations, class 9th half yearly. So make sure you are following these, and you let me know if you have any doubt. Okay, tata, bye bye, I'll meet you in the next video. Subscribe to the channel.